Welcome to Native Notion, a gaming podcast that isn't afraid to talk anything and everything. Here's your host, Klamath.
Yo, what's good? What's really good? How's everybody doing today? I appreciate you hanging out with me. Welcome to the latest episode of Native Notion. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Klamath, and I appreciate the fact that you've come out to listen. I discuss a variety of things. Generally speaking, I'd categorize myself as a gaming podcast. However, I would say that the topics that I've discussed are far from gaming. In general, they've kind of covered a wide range of different topics, right? Just around the world. Any of the current events type of things that are within the gaming industry, other aspects that may come along with that. So, I'm not going to categorize I made the mistake in saying that. I'm not going to necessarily categorize myself as a gaming podcast, but I will say that I tend to focus more on the gaming side of things. Now, that being said, I do a lot less gaming these days as what I've done in the past. I used to focus pretty heavily on it, but I've tried to take a little more active effort on improving myself mentally, physically, and just like overall spiritually type of thing, and get out and be active more. So I've been playing a lot more sports, I was going to the gym, trying to get myself back into shape. I'm certainly not sitting down as often. I try to stand up and move around more. I hope to adjust the diet that I keep, because right now I kind of have a like the all around kind of diet, if you will say. I'm a rotating shift worker, so for me, I eat what's available to me when it's available kind of situation, which poses some other issues. It is what it is. I live with it. I'm not unhappy with the way that I am doing it or anything like that. And certainly I don't think I am causing any issues with the way that I look for the people that I care about, right? So that's what we got going on here. Outside of that, just enjoying life. I'm hoping that it's going to warm up. It is the middle of February right now, and we peaked above 50 degrees today, which is a pretty significant thing to happen, right? I know some people are like, oh my God, you got to 50 degrees. It hasn't gone above 20 anytime, kind of thing. I've lived there. I get it. Additionally, there are other places where it hasn't dropped below like 50, so yeah, no, it's kind of a warm day in that sense. So it's kind of cool. And, I certainly, I appreciate the fact that is, something that is happening right now. I enjoy the warmth way more than I do the cold. That said, I take advantage of the cold to be able to go do things. I've been snowboarding a few times. I plan to go at least one more time this year. The unfortunate scenario between how much I'm working and my family life, I'm going traveling next month, and with all that is I don't necessarily have a lot of time to be able to do things like that. So I'm gonna fit it in where I can. That said, I've been on a more consistent schedule, not a consistent schedule, but a more consistent schedule. One of my coworkers, he doesn't like working day shift, which I don't mind working day shift. And so we've been swapping our swing shifts. So I work there's 3 shifts in a day, right? Day shift, swing shift, and graveyard shift. So he wants to work in the afternoon into the evening. I don't mind waking up early and working through the morning and into the early afternoon. That gives me a better opportunity to be with my family, get to see them more often kind of situation. And then I still do graveyards. So that is it's kind of a thing. But I'm trying. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm trying to get a different job, not a job within the same company, within the same work group, but a different job that doesn't have me rotate. We'll see if that happens. I don't think that process will even start until like mid-year time frame. So it's going to cause for hopefully an opportunity to improve my overall life. The last time that I interviewed for a position like this, the feedback that I got was that was the best interview that any of the interview panelists have ever seen and have ever been a part of. They rated me a perfect score, which was from my boss, who was one of the interview panelists, said it's the first time he has ever, throughout his 45 years doing this kind of thing, ever interviewed somebody that they scored as a perfect score, right? That was a pretty big accomplishment. The field that I work in, we don't get a lot of compliments, right? It's a lot of constructive criticism. So getting that feedback was really good. It helped me understand what it is that I need to do, and things that I can do to help myself improve when I'm interviewing. So I hope to carry that forward when this process comes along. But today I'm having a beer right now, and it is a hazy pale ale. This is from Fremont Brewery out of Seattle, Washington. And the drink is called a Sky Kraken. It's actually pretty decent. Not too heavy. Doesn't have too much back end. There's not a lot of hops on it or anything like that. It does have quite a bit of head when you drink it. So there's that fuzzy feeling that's on your tongue when you're doing that. But it's good. I enjoy it. So. All right, let's get to today's episode. So today I'm going to be talking about a recent trend on TikTok that has happened. Now, I will preface this point with, I do not have a TikTok. I've never had a TikTok, and I've never watched any videos on TikTok. So I don't know a whole lot about the platform, if you will. I don't know the trends. I don't know how you use it or what it does or anything like that. I'm just not into it. It is what it is. I know a lot of people find a lot of joy in that. For me, it's not my thing. I kind of just pick it up in a secondhand notion. But there's been a trend that I picked up from a gentleman by the name of Joey Swoll. He is a content creator. He does TikTok videos. He does Twitter videos. I'm sure he has an Instagram. He's a gym rat. He's talked about his own personal battles with things, and that's, anyway, it is what it is. If you are interested in finding out about this gentleman, his Twitter handle is @thejoeyswoll. All right, you can find him that way, and he puts fairly consistent every few days, maybe every day kind of situation videos out. Anyway, I had happened to see it, and then in his Twitter bio, it said the CEO of Gym Positivity, which I thought was interesting because I have experienced quite a few different things at the gym myself, right? There's a lot of, if you want to call it machoism or whatever you want to say about it, right? There's a lot of people that don't necessarily, they don't work towards trying to improve everybody around them, right? They're very much about themselves or how much better they are than somebody else kind of situation. And one of the things that I know from experience is, like right around the beginning of the year, people get gym memberships, right? They set their New Year's resolution to be going to the gym. And I will say this, that is a great thing to have happen, right? That people who are doing this, they're fantastic in that kind of thing. That is something that I hope that they continue. Not everybody is going to be able to do it, right? And an unfortunate side effect is not a lot of people continue that gym membership. That's something that I was going 3 times a week before. I backed off, especially when my wife had surgery. So I want to get back to going at least 3 times a week. It's finding your motivation to be able to do that kind of thing, right? That's where you figure out what works for you. Not everybody's going to be able to muster up their own ideas and their own motivation to be able to continue going to the gym. You can help that from a person who goes to the gym, right? You can help that by encouraging these people when you see them, right? If you see somebody running down the street and this is a bigger person, or at the gym and they're on the treadmill and they're certainly overweight. I have heard it. I was guilty of it in the past, but I've made a real change in that sense. And I know people who think this way, right? Whose first thing is like, look at that person trying to exercise. How dare they, right? How dare they? How dare you? How dare you get into somebody's mind to try to say that they aren't worthy of doing something to better their life? In fact, the people that are doing this, those are the people that we should be encouraging the most, right? The people that are new, the people that are taking that step towards trying to improve their physical aspect, right? And their mental aspect. These people are out there and they've taken the step towards improving themselves. there are a bunch of people. A lot of it comes with immaturity. That's where mine came from, right? Just immature in general. There's a lot of people who want to make fun of people that do that. I don't think it's the right thing. I can't tell you the last time I did something like that. I'm fully admitting that I've done it in the past. I don't know the circumstance in which that was. It was a long time ago. But these people, they go out and they hit the gym, right? You want to encourage them. Hey, keep doing it. You're doing a good job. If somebody's struggling or something, and that's something that Joey Swole talks about, hey, help them out. Provide some input. Not everybody wants it, right? That is a thing. Recognize when somebody does not want your help. But there are going to be people out there that are fully accepting of it. A lot of times people are going to maybe not do an exercise because they don't know what they're doing. Or maybe people are going to be watching other people doing exercises so they can figure out, what are they doing? What can I do to improve myself? How do I use that machine? Whatever it may be, right? That's a thing. People legitimately do that. They watch people in the gym. If you've ever been to a gym, I can assure you somebody has been watching you. If you haven't noticed it, you might be blind, but other people look at you because they're interested. Some people do it because they're trying to figure out what it is you're doing. Other people are trying to learn from you. Other people are like literally just like, look at that person be able to do that. That's really cool, kind of thing, right? I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are some people that are out there. I don't know how much. I don't do it myself, so I don't know for sure. And I don't pay attention to this kind of thing, but there are people out there who leer, right? Which is disgusting. I hope anybody who's listening to this doesn't do that. And if you've done it in the past, stop. Okay. People that go to the gym don't go to the gym looking for you to stare at them for the purpose of sexualizing what it is that they're doing, right? They're going for their own improvement. Maybe they're going for their own improvement so they look better when they are naked, right? That's a thing. People try to look better when they're naked. Maybe that's true. But in the gym, that's not what they're going after. Don't do that kind of thing. That's just, it's wrong, right? For the women that are out there that have to deal with this, I hope to God you don't. And on top of that, I hope the people that are doing this don't ever escalate that, because that's such a ridiculous thing to happen. Okay. And if you don't know that is a thing that happens, right? People, they just stare and they're acting like creeps and stuff like that, like whatever it may be. That's a real thing, right? Don't confuse it for being something else. That Sky Kraken's delicious. But so back to the original point. He posted a video, Joey Swole did, about and I scrolled through his page, and I noticed he started doing this, where people on TikTok are doing this thing where they're like taking videos at gyms of people that are doing weird things, right? Now, mind you, because of situations that have happened in people's past, there's a lot of people, especially women, all right? I'm not just picking on them, right? It's not just women, but especially women who videotape themselves for safety reasons, right? You don't want anybody, excuse me. You don't want anybody coming up to you and doing something that you don't want, right? And that means that you're going to do whatever you can to protect yourself. I understand that point. And that's kind of what is going on. That's how it started. Mind you, gyms around the country, in the US at least, they have it's kind of like a wide range kind of thing, right? A no videotaping, a no videotaping rule. Okay, that's in public gyms. In private gyms, I say public, it's a private company that's out in the public. Okay, that's what I mean. Private gyms, like your gym at home, you're free to do whatever you want. But for the most part, gyms have this thing, and it's especially true in locker rooms. That's illegal. You can be arrested for that, right? Just think about what you're doing, right? You are videotaping people in a scenario where they are not appropriate, right? That think to what it is that people are doing. So it's some of it's common sense, which I know isn't so common, but we try to make it work. Anyway, So that's become a thing, and that's transformed into like a TikTok trend where people are videotaping people they think are being creepy or taking inappropriate action or doing something of that nature. And I caught this and this video really, I don't, because I don't have TikTok, I'm not familiar, and I don't really follow anything that's on TikTok. I didn't know that this was a thing, and it really was eye-opening. So I dug into it, and it really brought forth some memories, some thoughts of my own on this whole situation. Today I have a video of what he posted in regards to this for the whole purpose of this. I'm not going to mention the target. I won't mention their name or what their Twitter handle is, or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. Right? I'm not going to mention it. I'm not trying to bring them anything. Not that I think I ever will. Right? Mind you, I'm not saying that I have any real pull or anything like that. But that's not the goal of this, right? His whole idea is to create a video that shows how this is being abused.
This is how to not approach girls at the gym.
I hate this. I hate when there's sweeties. It makes me so uncomfortable.
If you can't hear this part, she is saying, I hate this. I hate this. I hate when there's weirdos at the gym.
Feral, like fucking feral. Swatch. The 5 adds £5. And these are the rates. Excuse me? You don't have to do that. It's okay. No, it's okay. I got it. Thank you, though. See what I mean? All right, here we go.
I just want to share my perspective on this video. If you guys want to watch the full thing, you can go over to her page. First and foremost, as I've said before, there is a big difference between staring at somebody and simply looking or glancing at them. So why did this man look at you? Well, you're in front of him off to the side, you're in his peripheral. You're also taking a video with your camera pointed directly at him, and you're talking to yourself. He's probably watching you wondering, what is she doing? I know I would. Also, you talk about, why would this man come over and help me load my plates? Well, if you watch the video, he sees that you struggle putting plates on the other side. Now, any experienced lifter out there knows when you have a barbell on the ground, if you're doing hip thrusts, if you're doing deadlifts, it's very difficult to put plates on. There's actually a jack they make for you to be able to lift up the barbell so you can put the plates on. He sees that you struggled being an experienced lifter, and he comes over to try and help you because that's what kind people do. Any experienced lifter out there knows what I'm talking about. And I saw the comment where you guys talk about this was a man trying to help out a woman because a man would never help a man. That's not true. This is not misogynist. I've been in the gym for 20 years. I can't tell you how many times I've helped men and women load plates, take plates off, put weights back. It has nothing to do with sex or gender. You help people because it's kind to do. But it's very sad that you took an act of kindness, this man doing something for you, being kind, and turned him into a creep at the gym, talking about how you want to rip his reproductive organ off, he can't produce, and that natural selection should take him out? Really? Trying to make yourself out to be a victim, which you're not. There are women harassed in gyms. You're not one of them. You need to do better. Mind your own business.
As you can see, based off of what he said there, kind of gives you an idea. I know you can't watch the actual video. You can find it if you want. But the idea is that it's being presented as potentially a setup behind this. And that's what I gathered from it. And I'm like, well, was this intentional? Was this planned? Right? It could be planned. I don't know. I don't know these people. I don't know what they're doing. His reaction, Joey Swoll's reaction, would say that he has nothing to do with this and he's kind of pissed off or whatever. And after watching his videos, it sounds like that's probably the case. He just finds or gets sent videos from other people and he makes a video based on that. So as I said, I was like, whoa, what was that, right? What was that? I was really like, hold on. So I went and found this person's Twitter page, and I asked myself, like, is there anything about it? Mind you, there was some responses that went along with this, and that part was like, oh, okay, well, it is what it is, and I'm going to read these so that way you can understand what I'm saying. But something didn't add up to me, so I was like, oh, well, now I need to figure this out. Try to figure out what the deal is, right? Why would this be the case? So there was a twitlonger that she put out that said, a lot of my content is lighthearted and humorous, but I want to start off by saying this is the most serious thing I've ever posted. First of all, I want to apologize sincerely to the man at the gym where this all started. He didn't do anything wrong to me, and I blew our interaction out of proportion. I know many people think that I'm apologizing. I'm only apologizing because I got called out from the video I posted, and this is half right. If I wasn't called out for the video, I wouldn't have had the chance to learn from this mistake or even realize I made a mistake to begin with. When I first posted the video, I felt that I was completely in the right, and I felt I was making a good attempt to connect and relate to my female audience who may have dealt with uncomfortable situations at the gym. And now, after reading literally thousands of comments about me, the situation, and the man in question, it truly opened my eyes to how damaging this could have been for him. Men and women deal with very different problems in the realm of opposite sex, and after looking through the lens of an innocent man put in a situation like that, it made me honestly think, it made me feel sick to my stomach with guilt. Now, mind you, this is really well written. I completely understand where she's coming from, and I think she's being an adult about how she's approaching this. Like, okay, yeah, well, it goes on. And I'm going to continue reading this, but I was truly curious. I'm like, wow, that's an adult thing. I don't know if she's done anything to help the situation, right? As far as like talk to the gentleman, let him know, because as far as I understand, this was posted without his consent nor his knowledge. But who knows, right? This is an attempt. I'm not the kind of person that doesn't think that thinks that people can't change, right? They can't make mistakes and then grow from them. I've made plenty of them. I already talked about one, right? I've made plenty of them, and I've grown and I've learned from them, right? I've become a different person, a better person. This whole cancel culture deal, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. That is, it's just people that are acting on pure reaction and trying to make things, or make somebody not be able to live their lives anymore, right? It's kind of in my opinion, that whole thing is cancerous. It continues. Before writing this, I was posting whatever made me feel justified for the video, which was wrong on my part, and I am extremely immature for doing so and trying to make light of a situation that is a lot more serious and should be taken that way. I've suffered from sexual assault and sexual harassment prior to this situation, and in the past, these events were extremely damaging to me. After speaking with friends that were honest with me, I was able to keep an open and understanding mind. It took literally thousands of people displaying their distaste for the way I acted for me to realize this in full effect. Because the man at the gym did nothing damaging to me, and I still felt threatened in the situation, I reacted by trying to cope with it in probably the worst way possible. For context, what people may not understand is she came out and was like, yeah, I'm not wrong about this. I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe if he was not being a creep at the gym, then it wouldn't have happened, right? Maybe if he just left me alone kind of situation. That's kind of what she's referring to. My past isn't an excuse or a justification for what I did, but it is something I want to personally and professionally address with a therapist in the future. Because I don't want to and never will hurt anyone ever again in this way. The jokes I got included in on the TikTok were far from tasteful and funny. I look back at the video now and I cringe that it ever even got posted. Again, because of the wake-up call given to me by mainly Joey Swole and his community. I think it's important to call out people on their mistakes, and in the words of Joey, help them, in quotes, do better. And that's one of the things he says, do better. This is exactly what I plan to do with not just my content, but my life moving forward. Now, to that point, if you have never interacted or been around anybody that has been victim to sexual assault or sexual harassment, that it lasts, right? That people hang on to that. That is something, it is incredibly damaging, right? It's taken away something that somebody thought that could never be taken away, right? Which is their thought processes, right? It is, I hope you don't, if you've never had to experience or be around anybody that's dealt with that, I hope you don't, right? I have been firsthand involved with somebody who dealt with that and the negative repercussions that come along with it. I'm telling you, it is horrific, horrible. All right, continuing. Now, this is already becoming a lot to read, and honestly, I considered making a video to help convey my sincerity for what I'm saying. But I also want to prove this isn't a publicity stunt or a way to farm clicks, so I feel like this is the best way to express what I'm doing to move forward. I will touch on that more here in a minute. So I'm deciding to remove the videos off of all my platforms because I don't want this misconception. Some people might think this is a way of me hiding the video or sweeping it under the rug, but this text isn't going anywhere. I eventually decided that there's no real combination of words I can put together to gain the trust of my community and the people who are discovering me in the worst way possible. With my 600,000 followers on TikTok, and as an influencer, I hold a lot of responsibility to use my platform, in a way that spreads love and happiness, which I did the exact opposite of that. I'm sorry to the men and women who deal with or have dealt with false/true allegations of sexual harassment or sexual assault, and if I made their situations feel belittled by mine. I apologize to my fans who have supported me and who have been supporting me through this. I messed up. I'm going to just own this mistake. I love making content and sharing my experiences with my community and people in general. And I hope I'm able to show growth not only in a few days and weeks, but in the months and years as I continue to be able to do what I love. This will be an ugly scar in my character for a long time until I can show that I am growing. I just hope people give me the chance to. So truly, I'm sorry. And I will not just say that I'm sorry like it's going to fix everything. I am going to show and prove everyone that this is not who I am, and this is not who I am going to continue to be. Mistakes help me grow, and I'm willing to learn and take people's constructive criticism where it's needed. In hopes of moving on after the situation, I will no longer be discussing this topic any further. Along with that, I'll be taking a break from social media until I am in the right mental space and keeping making content. Thank you for reading. I love you all. P.S. I don't have an OnlyFans. I have a fan house, which is a safe for work website where I connect with my supporters. All right. So to digest more of that, I said I was going to come back to the point of what was being said, right? So as far as I know, and I don't follow this person anywhere, so I don't know for sure. As far as I know, Twitter is their smallest. I think it's their smallest. Their smallest in general location for where you can find them, how they can reach to people. And I say that not that it's small, but smallest in comparison to the other ones. This person is a Twitch partner. So they do stream on Twitch. Obviously, they have a fairly large amount. I'm guessing like I don't know, in the tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people. I'm not sure on Twitch. I didn't check, so I don't know for sure. But on Twitter, they have under 14,000 followers, which is still good growth, right? So 14,000 followers here. As she mentioned on TikTok, there's over 600,000, and I understand that her Instagram has something like over 300,000 or something like that. So in relative sense, her reach on Twitter is pretty small. Now it may, I don't know how the other platforms work in terms of like outreach and stuff, but I understand like TikTok is pretty good about being able to get out to different people once you figure out the algorithms, right? Pretty true for just about all of them. But it would seem to me, if you're trying to reach the most people, you would use the locations where you can reach the most people. And that's one thing that, as I continued to read messages over and over and over, and I read through hundreds and thousands of messages. That's not what happened, right? This person, they put out this TwitLonger, and that's the only location. And there are people that have gone like really deep to find information on them. So yeah, I thought that was strange, right? Like, oh, why would you, if you have a significantly higher following on a different platform, why would you not use that or use that as well to be able to be able to convey what it is you're trying to convey? It's kind of strange, right? It seemed weird. So I kept reading and kept reading and kept reading, and there's a debate about apparently she had a Linktree, and on that Linktree it had an OnlyFans account. I guess that OnlyFans link that was listed there was actually a spoof. It went to a FanHouse account. I don't know what FanHouse is. I hadn't heard of FanHouse until I found this person. It sounds like FanHouse is a website similar to OnlyFans, except there's no nudity, right? So it's completely safe in that sense. So I was like, oh, that's weird. Why would you do that? And I think that leads to the original point where she was being immature about her responses, and that was part of it, is she did that. So kind of strange. I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, it was a good apology. It talked about the right points. It shows, like, hey, I had made some mistakes. I did some things that are really bad, and I'm going to try to improve myself. I'm like, listen, you're checking all the boxes for me. That's awesome. So as I flowed through the original, the comments on this, right, I found what was going to be the original response to all of this. And I was like, original response? This is the only response I know, right? I'm late to this party. I don't know any different. Like, what are you talking about? And somebody posted a screenshot of the original TwitLonger. The title is basically similar, right? My gross mistake addressing my gym video. So I was like, well, why is this here? Is this Photoshop? It turns out, no, it's not Photoshop. In fact, it was legitimate. This was posted first, and then it was deleted and rewritten into what I just read to you. This one says, most of my comments aren't serious, so please take them with a grain of salt. It's the same. That's the same energy that you got from the TwitLonger I read to you before. It continues. Since the gym video, in quotations, has blown up way bigger than I anticipated, obviously notice my comments have become somewhat contradictory. I had stated that the video was for awareness and then said for entertainment. That was twisted into people thinking I made up the situation for entertainment. I can understand how that could be mistaken that way. However, I meant the video was meant for awareness, but the comments I had made about being an underage 21-year-old, a TikTok inside joke about ripping his pee-pee off and natural selection, were meant for entertainment and to be taken as a joke and not to be taken seriously. All right, so I don't know what this underage 21-year-old TikTok business is. It's kind of weird to me. Some people do know it. And people used it as like legitimately, this woman got harassed. It was terrible. But they used her words against her, right? It's kind of weird. I was like, oh, I don't know what that. I don't get it. I didn't watch the full video, so I don't know everything. But he talked about the ripping his penis off, and hope natural selection takes him. The fact that she comes out later and said this was meant as a joke, I'm like, was it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Okay, right? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Okay. So, but she continues, says the video was for awareness, and I will not apologize for how I felt in that situation. I was like, oh, well, that's different. There was an issue prior to this part of the recording that led me to taping the second part of my workout for my own safety due to past experiences I've had. I realize now that if I were to post it for awareness, I could have kept the stare counter and blurred his face and make it more clear when I am joking. This is how I tend to cope. Okay. Addressing that aspect that's associated with that, I don't know if you deal with somebody that has had traumatic experiences. Generally speaking, the way that people cope is not conducive to the mental and emotional well-being of the people around them. That is very, very, very true. If you don't believe me, think about the people that went through something serious and then got heavily into drinking. Okay? People cope in different ways, but often the way that you cope is not beneficial to the people around you. Keep that in mind. She continues, I was not thinking when that video was posted. I was thinking of this from a content perspective, like, what joke should I say to the women that women could relate to? And not, how could this negatively affect the people in the video? From my point of view, this seemed like a relatable, funny video some women could relate to. I'm sorry that I painted this man in a bad light, but that's how I seriously felt. It was wrong for me to take a situation like this and post it on the internet for all to see. I thought I was doing right and being entertaining at the same time, but I made a gross mistake trying to combine the two. Okay. There are traces of what was said in the original apology that I read to you that are found in here, so you can tell that the energy is somewhat similar. The wording is significantly different. She, in part to this, after this was posted, she continued to defend her actions in posting the video and say that it was for entertainment reasons, right? And that was caught in comments that people found. That is just, that's odd, right? Why would you do that? I don't get, why would you make a joke of something so serious, right? Being somebody that was in a situation like that, sexual harassment or sexual assault situation, the people I know that have been involved in that make no jokes about this kind of thing, right? Why would you make a joke about that? That doesn't correlate at all. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that whatsoever. I never thought to myself like this, hey, this would be something that I really want to talk about or anything like that. But it legitimately calls into question a lot of what's happening. I don't know if this trend continues. If you check the Joey Swole Twitter account, apparently this is a fairly common thing. I don't know. I don't keep up with that, right? But that's unnerving. It's unnerving that somebody would take their platform that they have a fairly large reach on and use it to be able to effectively disparage and slander somebody who was completely innocent, right? That's what she was trying to convey. Like, oh, sorry, I guess, like he wasn't actually doing that and I didn't realize it. I can get that part. I can understand that from a perspective of somebody who's really concerned about that. If you look at it and you're like, oh, this is what it's like, and everybody else is like, nah, that's not really what it's like, right? And you go, well, damn, maybe everybody else is right. And you're like, yeah, well, maybe they were, right? And I can understand that, okay? That makes sense to me. The way that she was defending herself, I was like, listen, you're sticking to your guns on this, and it just seems like you're fighting the fight to fight the fight, not trying to fight the fight to push the message. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird. Yeah. So I don't know. Since that point, this person, she went ahead and she disabled comments for a while on her Twitter account. She did not take a social media break, mind you. Maybe it was a social media break for her. I say that understanding that it's possible it could have been. But she was gone for like a day and then was back to posting on Twitter and replying to people and defending herself, right? Like, it's kind of yeah. So, she didn't really take a break from social media. It speaks to me that she's really just more addicted to it than anything. So, but turned off all comments, which meant like the comments came from quote tweets, right? So yeah, it is. It's interesting in that way, you know. She didn't want to hear from people, and in part I can understand. You know, she was getting harassed. I swear to you, harassed by all of these people. It was nuts looking at this, and I feel for this young lady. Unfortunately, she brought some of that on herself, right? And unfortunately, I am of the opinion, after looking at this stuff, that she legitimately apologized because of the ability of one person to call them out, right? She acknowledged that, you know, like, that's half right. The other half of it is this. I think that we would never seen it if it wasn't for that. I think that she's very much into her own into her own thought process in that. So hopefully that means that other people are going to be able to understand this process, right? Yeah, it is. It's interesting to say the very least on that. I wish her well. I hope that she's able to move beyond this, and I hope all the people that reacted to her in a very nasty way, I hope they don't come across something that causes people to respond to them in very much the same way, right? It's that idea, it's that people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks, right? I hope that's the case. I hope that she learns from this and then she becomes a better person, and I hope this trend really stops. Right? I know that Mr. Joey Swoll is working to push and use his platform to be able to, like, call this kind of stuff out, but he's also like, hey, gyms, stop letting people use camera and take videos inside of your gym. This is a private institution, and he's right. It is a private institution. Don't allow people to do this. There's harm coming from this. Don't let people do that. Do better, right? Do better, as he says. It's crazy. It is absolutely insane. I'm like, I've been stuck on this for, gosh, two weeks. I've wanted to talk about it, and unfortunately I hadn't got it done, but I'm working on doing that. But I'm telling you, even now, I'm just like, how? Why is this a thing? Why are people doing things, right? Gosh, I hate it. So yeah. Anyway, man, it's been fun. I hope to be able to do this more often. It's not that I can't do it more often. I have effectively the same concept that you would in writer's block, right? I get topics in my head and then I don't really know what to say, right? And I have an idea of how this is going to work, right? And how it should work. So please feel free, let me know how ideas, things you want me to talk about, what things that you think are important, and whether or not I have an opinion on them. That said, I can't get to everything. I am a busy person, right? That's the reality of the situation, but I will do my best. I have asked for people to give me input, and so I will accept input. Additionally, if there's anybody that would like to come on and have a discussion with me about any number of topics, feel free to reach out to me. I have Twitter, I have a Twitch account, I have an Instagram account. So, and I have Discord. Discord's probably the best way to get a hold of me. But you feel free to reach out. We can talk about some stuff. You can present some ideas to me of things we can talk about, and maybe I can counter, and we can see where it goes. Right? See how that blends. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you're well. I hope everything's going well. As I said, next month I'll be traveling, so certainly I won't be around as much due to me traveling. But I may be able to come out with something more before then. Yeah, one could hope, right? Anyway, I hope things go well for you, and I hope that everything that you do can be coming your way, right? You can be able to figure it all out. The show notes will have the link to all of my socials in there. It's a link tree. And then the one thing I could ask on top of everything else, right? The one more thing I could ask for you is if you know some people that might want to listen to it, share it. Share this podcast with them, right? The best way to grow is by word of mouth and people doing some legwork. I'm going to put it out on my platforms, but I hope you're able to put it out on yours. All right. Hope you have a great one, and I'll catch you the next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Native Notion. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, keep up with Klamath by following him on Twitch, Hover, and Twitter. All links are in the show notes. Until next time.